Morning, everyone. I am living in Spain now 7 years, and I live as a local, really. There's some things I want to mention. I have to say that the ordinary people of Spain are wonderful, really, really wonderful, kind hearted, and friendly when you get to know them. But the government itself, fascism hasn't died in this country, sadly. And I'm going to give some examples to illustrate what I'm saying. I've written down some notes because there's so many. Now these may be issues in other European countries as well, but it's just as I live here, I've noticed these things. The whole recycling thing of shoppers buying food and packaging and that, and going to the bins. Here in Spain, they're collective bins on the streets. So the things that are being recycled, such as plastics, clothes, oil, even furniture, timber. In some European countries, when there are facilities where you can bring the plastic bottles and stuff like that, to a deposit, and you get some money back. That's not happening in Spain. The government are literally, they even take clothes and they give nothing back to the ordinary people. They're taking timber, which is, I believe it's broken down and it's sent abroad. So they're selling it abroad. I really think that's very mean of the government, that people are spending so much money on buying these items and then they receive nothing back. Then VAT, when you go shopping, it's again VAT. There's three rates of VAT in Spain. There's 4%, 10%, and 21%. Now, the government claim that the 4% is on essentials, that it's the minimum amount of tax, and it's placed on all essentials, which is actually not true because there's 21% on hygiene products. So, for example, if you want to buy a bar of soap, you pay 21% VAT to the government for that. And also water, you pay 10% VAT on water when you buy it. So again, there's a lot of propaganda goes on, which from the government, which is not actually, which is false. Another issue I see is, sorry, my I should have put on my glasses for this, but yeah, there was a time in Spain. A lot of these points I'm making are applicable to poor people here in Spain, and tourists never see these side of things, but well, the government are trying to avoid the tourists seeing this side of things, and this is why some people are anti-tourism. It's put aside all the issues of accommodation and that. People are seeing how the government are, instead of serving the ordinary people of the country, they're appeasing tourists all the time. They have incentives for tourists to come. They set up the transport system, especially during the summer months, to serve the tourists more than the locals. So the local people see that the tourists are treated with favouritism by the governments here. There's a term dumpster diving, and I've seen people doing this where people climb into the bins and looking for food. Now, the government have stopped that because they brought in a law that the supermarkets must give their leftover food that hasn't been sold to local charities. So that option for anyone that's homeless and has no money to buy food is gone. Now the food is handed over to the NGOs, the food banks, and they're in control of it. So you have to go through those organisations to get that help. And a lot of homeless people don't want to go to those organisations. I'll come back to that in a few minutes. Off-grid living, okay. The Yeah, if you want to have your own eggs, have your own hens, there's a law after being brought into Spain that you have to register your hens with the government. So you have to pay a fee to register, and you have to even tell them exactly how many hens you have. You have to register, I think, each hen. So this is a sly way of getting around people not going to the supermarkets to buy eggs, because when you're raising your own hens, obviously you're not paying tax on the eggs. But this law brought in to register the hens is a way of tax collection again. The minimum wage in Spain for domestic workers is still not even €10. It's €9.55 per hour. Still not even €10 an hour. So that's really getting back to the fascism, because the civil war that was in Spain many years ago was actually workers against rich business owners, because the workers were seeing that the rich business owners were really raking it in, and that they were not getting their fair share of recompense for their work. So that's why I'm saying the ghost is still, fascism is still here. If you're looking for work in Spain, there are no designated community notice boards. If you try and put up a notice somewhere looking for work, it will be torn down. And the government have notices up everywhere that you're not to post any notices, like in bus stops or things like that. So it's a form of government control again. There are unemployment agencies where you can go, but they're all employers who have gone through those offices. So in other words, you can't get cash in hand work. It's very hard to get that anymore. It's become particularly hard since COVID. The domestic workers, the government brought in a law that the domestic workers have to be registered, and that was to stop people doing cash in hand work. The issue of people from other European countries coming to Spain to work. Now, under EU law, if you're a citizen of another European country, you have a right to live and work in Spain, just as the Spanish people can go to another European state and they can have a legal right to live and work there. Now, that since the whole illegal immigration thing has become an everyday feature, that law is literally being ignored, because you can find that when you go searching for work, you'll just find that there are many people from South America, and there are many people from North Africa here who are here legally, basically, and you're going to be competing against them, because a lot of employers want cheap labour. So they just ignore the law. If you have, as a European citizen, you have a right to live and work here, then they ignore that right, and they won't even pay the minimum wage. So that's not all employers, but some employers, and scrupulous ones, will take the advantage of illegal immigration to exploit workers. And yeah, so that's what I want to say. It's it's Spain is a beautiful country. It just has so much potential. If the government could just get their act together and start treating everyone with respect, start treating people equally, give everyone their rights, honour their rights, things would really, I believe, would improve immensely in this country, and there would be less poverty. There's always going to be poverty around, you know. Poverty is a challenge that some of us just have to go through, but it is supposed to be the job of governments to help people. And there's just, I just feel frustrated sometimes when I see how governments just turn their back on people who need help, and don't want to honour people's rights. So I just wanted to give people a reality check on Spain. Thanks. Bye bye.